What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back for another episode of the 5 takeaways, where we're going to look at the Southampton game yesterday, 3-2 loss at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and see what we can take away from the game. And the first takeaway is going to be Spurs penned back.
So Spurs really struggled to get out of their own half yesterday, and not only that's obvious, but it's even more so that Southampton had a lot of possession in our half, especially in the first half. And I think if you look at the stats, Spurs made 12 tackles in their own defensive third against Southampton, which is the second most of any game they've had under Conte, second to Liverpool. And I think that shows how much defending we had to do against Southampton compared to the other games, and we weren't able to keep them away from our own defensive third like we have done successfully in other games.
Was that majority first half? How did the stats?
I don't know. It doesn't say half.
From what I remember, it was majority first half where we couldn't get out. And I mean, I was saying it for the last 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of the first half. I was like, we're desperate for half time. We're desperate for half time.
Yeah.
And yeah, half time came and we were 1-1, and we were kind of lucky to get there, but ended up losing the game anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a good barometer when you're looking about how much dominance an opposition have and how many tackles you're making in your own defensive third, because you shouldn't be making too many if you're keeping them at an arm's length. But if you're making too many, it means they're finding too many ways of getting beyond you and making things difficult for you. And that was proof of it.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the second takeaway, and that is a tale of two wing-backs.
Yeah, so both wing-backs, I thought, you could argue both didn't have a terrible game, but the stats show a bit of a different story. I think when it comes to Reguilon, he had 2 key passes, 3 accurate crosses, they're only second to only Ward-Prowse, 2 accurate long passes, 92% accuracy, obviously had the shot on target, which he should have scored, and he only lost possession 7 times. When you compare that to Emerson, which is a big difference, 0 key passes, 0 accurate crosses, 0 accurate long balls, 0 dribbles, and 72% accurate passes. So definitely Reguilon was much more of a threat, but Emerson was terrible. And considering how much of a emphasis there is on the fullbacks on Conte's system, you can't be having that in these kind of games for wing back.
And to be fair, I didn't even think Reguilon had a good game yesterday, and when you're comparing him to Emerson, I mean, he did have a good game compared to Emerson, but that's just because Emerson was so bad yesterday. I mean, he was so detrimental. In 3 goals he had a hand in. Everyone, and I mean everyone, was coming out after the game and laying into him. I, for one, have like stuck up for him at times. And I do, look, I've said it consistently that I think he's, young player coming into the league, and he wasn't bought for that formation and position, blah, blah, blah. But it's becoming increasingly hard to stick up for his performances, really.
Yeah, and that's the problem, especially like his big performances yesterday. That was truly an atrocious performance.
Let's move on to the third takeaway, and that is a lack of progression.
Spurs really struggled to retain possession yesterday and progress the ball up the pitch, and that was a big problem. Like, as you saw, a lot of attempted long balls weren't able to sustain any sort of passing moves, and the stats, again, they bear that out. It was the lowest number of progressive carries Spurs have had in a game this season, and the shortest progressive distance since Conte took over. So we were really, and there was also the second least amount of touches we had in the opposition penalty area since Conte took over. So we really did struggle for large parts to progress the ball into the Southampton half. And considering how many tackles we had to make in our own defensive third from them, it shows how we were outdone.
It's luckily we did that video comparing Nuno and Conte before this game.
Yeah.
Instead of after, to be honest, because all the stats are coming back out for us. But I mean, it was awful yesterday, and the passing stats from Winks, Højbjerg, Emerson, Sanchez. I mean, even Romero was a culprit of it yesterday. I mean, we just couldn't get any passing moves together. Apart from, I mean, it was a nice goal, passing move for the first goal, but apart from that, I mean, few and far between, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we did actually create some chances via some good moves, but that goes to show that even when we're playing badly, the system can still create a few chances. So when we're playing well, hopefully we can create lots of chances. But we did struggle to really keep possession, and that was a big problem.
All right, let's move on to the fourth takeaway, and that is Southampton on top.
So the Spurs conceded 9 shots on target yesterday. So Laurie's had to make 9 saves. They had Southampton had 2.6 expected goals. Southampton also had 32 touches inside the Tottenham penalty area and 229 touches in the Tottenham attacking third, which is all the most we've conceded, not just since Conte's taken over this season at all, even including Nuno's time. So that shows how dominant Southampton were in Tottenham's half and how many chances they had. And we really did struggle to contain them really badly.
Yeah, and look, as much as we want to lay into Spurs' performance, and rightly so, because we were terrible, I thought Southampton were absolutely brilliant yesterday. I said before, I think it's the best side I've seen play us this year at the Tottenham Stadium. I think it's been the best I've seen Southampton by a long way this season, and they were relentless. They just kept coming back. They had shot after shot, chance after chance, and they really did give us an absolutely torrid
It was an onslaught at times, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it really was. And when was the last time even Chelsea didn't really onslaught us like that?
Yeah, they kind of just got 3 quick goals and then kind of it was it.
So I think actually, especially at home, that's the most dominated we've been.
Yeah, definitely the most chances we've conceded. And obviously the stats bear that out. And yeah, I think Hasenhüttl said it was the best Southampton performance under his tenure. And I think that probably goes to show that despite Tottenham being poor, which is fair, you got to give credit to Southampton, because I thought sometimes you just got to give the opposition a bit of credit as well, because I thought they were brilliant.
Yeah, and I think definitely yesterday was a big case of that. But let's move on to the 5th and final takeaway, and that is advantage slipping.
So we had a very good advantage in the league table, didn't we? We were like 2 points behind Man United with 3 games in hand going into yesterday. But after that defeat, West Ham winning, Arsenal yet to play later today. Spurs now sit 7th after 21 games, level with Arsenal, level on points, but behind them on goal difference. Spurs, so they do still sit 4 points off 4th with 3 games in hand, but are losing ground in the top 4 race. I think United, it's 3 points with 2 games in hand. So on paper, it doesn't look too bad, but compared to how it looked before the game, if we would have won this game, all of a sudden we're in the driving seat, and now we're letting that advantage slip.
Yeah, and the advantage could slip even further with the 2 next games coming up. Very hard games, and Wolves at home, who have been really good all season, and obviously Man City away, which you got to expect.
We're lucky to get we're lucky to get 4 points and now 3 points.
Very lucky to get 4 points. So yeah, I mean, Spurs got a lot of work cut out for them, definitely in the next few games. And even after that, we've got still 2 difficult away games in Burnley away, who have just taken points off Man United and Arsenal. And we've also got Leeds away, which you never know which Leeds side are going to come up. And, when you look at Spurs, and we seem to really struggle against teams that press us, and that's exactly what Leeds are going to do.
Exactly. So we've got to shape up and make sure that we get back on the right track, because I think momentum's a powerful thing, and I think we had really good momentum before the Chelsea game in the league anyway, and then we lost that, and now we've lost this game after being 2-1 up, because I thought after the Leicester game there was really good momentum building. So if we let
the Brighton game as well.
Yeah, so if we let this if we lose again, if we lose again against Wolves, then it could be very negative momentum going into the second half of the season.
All right, well, that is our 5 takeaways. I want to know what you thought of our takeaways, and if we have missed anything out, let me know your takeaways in the comments section below. That is our 5 takeaways. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.